Welcome back to the Fan Zone, everybody. Got a special guest with us, President Mike Helton. And Mike, when you go to do a renovation on a racetrack, there's small renovations. Then there's what went on here. $20 million, 50,000 tons of asphalt. It looks absolutely beautiful, but this was no small undertaking. It took every bit of 6 months.
Yeah, and that was a remarkable 6 months effort. I mean, a lot of things had to come completely apart. Then the surface, and then all that stuff had to be put back together. So my hat's off to the crews and multiple crews that pulled it all off, and it's come out with a really first-class surface for the Daytona 500.
Yeah, you know, this year coming to Daytona, walking around the garage area, talking to the guys in the media center, talking to these fans out here. I've been coming to Daytona my whole life. There's an excitement about Daytona this year. There's an excitement about the 2011 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Are you guys feeling that as you go places and talk to people this year?
Yeah, we have, and I think a lot of it has to do with the conclusion of 2010 was so good. The season was good last year. The racing on the racetrack was good. The conclusion to the Sprint Cup Series in Miami last year all kind of teed it up to where there was a bit of an appetite. And then you talk about the new look at Daytona. They resurfaced the place, okay? And we've resurfaced tracks before, but it gives the track a whole new look. And everybody, I think, picks up on that and gets energized, and everybody's excited for Speed Weeks to get started.
And speaking of that, Mike, the new look, let's go ahead and carry it over to the car, because everybody's excited about the new look on the nose. You know, we did away with the wing. Now we made the modification to the nose. I know a lot of the fans saying, hey, now these things are looking more like race cars or stock cars to us. And to me, I think there's a renewed interest in what's going to, unveil here, starting tomorrow night.
There he is, and we saw a little bit of it last year in the Nationwide Series, and some of that carried over starting in 2011 with the front end of the Cup car. And the manufacturers are re-engaged. They're wanting to do things with NASCAR on the cars, and we're going to see results from that. And we're starting to see that with the unfolding of the 2011 Cup season. So it's exciting. And the next couple of years even gets better.
Mike, it's DW down here adjacent to the Fan Zone. The drivers were, after testing, the drivers were asking for lines on the racetrack. In other words, so they could tell what lane everybody was running in. I can't help but notice that someone may not have interpreted what they meant by lines by what they meant by lines. I see we have one set of lines up kind of up high, the upper groove, but no other lines on the racetrack. Can you address that and why the lines were not maybe put on down the track like normal?
Yeah, I think the end result is what you see is what was asked for after the tire test and then the open test in January last month. They wanted some kind of an identifying mark in the upper part of the racetrack, and that's what we've done. Now, obviously, as time goes on, if the garage area asks for more, we'll do more. But I think what you see is what the decision was after testing and the results of that decision.
Mike, this is a big picture question in the wake of 5 straight championships for Jimmie Johnson. I hear this over and over and over again. The question is Jimmie's dominance good for NASCAR? So we'll put it to you, NASCAR. Does NASCAR have an opinion on whether Jimmie's dominance is good or bad?
Well, I don't think we have an opinion, but let's put it this way. I think that there will be great debate on whether or not this is good for the sport. And I think the group that will argue that it is will say that sports dynasties are built by exceptional performance, and the 48 team has had exceptional performance. It also establishes a benchmark for everybody else to go after, and I think what we saw in 2010 is a lot of folks in the garage stepped up to the plate and challenged the 48 to where he had to earn more than ever before that 5th championship in Miami this year. The other side of the coin is well, one guy winning it all, so what? But when you have a dynasty like that, then there's 42 other teams on that racetrack that knows that's the car that they got to beat, and it establishes the level. And so I think the quality of the Sprint Cup racing has benefited from that dynasty. But you can get on both sides of the argument, and we hear it every day, and internally we talk about it.
And Mike, when you look at the scoring system for this year, I mean, that is a big change, the simplified 43 through 1. What was the biggest impetus to put that in right now?
To simplify it, and we've talked for years about it. And the points in all of motorsports is complicated. Our NASCAR point system has been debated ever since it originated. This one will be debated, I'm sure. But the premise behind it is to make it simple. One position, 1 point on the racetrack, and then let's see if we can build from that.
Mike, you guys have a tough job putting this whole thing together, but you do a great job with it. Thank you very much for coming by and spending a little time for us. We're looking forward to the 500 and the shootout.
That's it.
Ready. All right, that's the president, the boss man, Mike Helton. Thanks for coming by. We appreciate that. Now we're going to get you